And good afternoon. I'm Russ Mitchell from the WKYC studios. You've been watching NBC coverage of the arraignment of Donald Trump for his third indictment. This indictment on charges stemming from the 2020 election. He pleaded not guilty today. Let's run down those charges for you. They are conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to impede the January 6th congressional proceeding, conspiracy against the right to vote and have that vote counted, obstruction of, attempt to obstruct, and impede the certification of the electoral vote. Again, the former president today pleaded not guilty when he appeared before a magistrate judge. The next court date in this case is August 28th, and we were told the judge who will preside over this case on that day will set a trial date. We want to get you to Channel 3 News at 5 o'clock in just a minute, but before we do that, I want to bring in Professor Kevin C. McMonigle. He is with Case Western Reserve University, a law professor there. Professor McMonigle is a former federal prosecutor. Professor, good afternoon to you.
Hi, Russ. How are you?
I am doing just fine, sir. I know you've been watching this procedure. You've been in a courtroom a time or two in your career. Anything about what you heard surprise you at all, or was it all pretty normal?
It was all pretty normal, although I hear some of this stuff repeated over and over again that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But for instance, the charges, about the advice of counsel idea, that might be relevant for some of the conspiracies. Set two of the counts require that it be proven that he acted corruptly, which means he had, an intent to do something wrong. But the 371 and the 241 counts have no such language. And typically, ignorance of the law is no defense. So you rely on your lawyer. It's really irrelevant if they tell you that something's not a crime.
Interesting. Let me ask you, you and I spoke on the phone before this. We know the judge in the case, Judge Tanya Chutkan, is an Obama appointee. She has ruled in other cases regarding January 6 defendants, and her punishment in 6 of those cases has been harsher than what the federal government had actually recommended. Now, we understand that the former president's lawyers are going to ask for a change of venue. Does that surprise you, A? And B, how successful are they likely to be in that case?
They're not likely to be successful. Actually, almost everything they're trying to do, they're not likely to be successful at. But yeah, so the fact that Trump keeps arguing, well, it's the judge is an Obama appointee, and that explains everything. She's a former public defender, so she's an experienced trial lawyer, and she's been handing out harsh sentences, which tends to tell you, a lot of people think, oh, if you're a former public defender, you're going to be more lenient. In fact, she's being quite tough, and that's been my experience with some of the judges I appeared in front of, was that some of the former defense lawyers who were federal judges were tougher on defendants than former prosecutors, and often would sentence someone more severely than the government asked.
Interesting.
So what's Judge Chutkan is, I can remember the harshest sentencer in the court where I appeared was a lawyer who was a judge who was a former defense lawyer. I see. And we just put in that slam and Sam, because he would hold. And even if the government, we go and say, Your Honor, we think that such and such is, he will say, well, thank you very much, but, and then he would impose usually the maximum sentence.
Gotcha. As you told me earlier, sir, that's why they have these trials here, because as Jack Smith pointed out, in that 45-page indictment, the former president is presumed innocent until proven guilty in any case. Listen, Professor McMonigle, we've got to go now. We do thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, for your insight, and I'm sure we will speak again.
All right, nice to talk to you, Russ.
Nice to talk to you as well. Once again, former President Donald Trump pleading not guilty in his third indictment. Arraignment held this afternoon in Washington, D.C. More on this tonight in just a few minutes. And also tonight on Channel 3 News at 6. And as you heard Lester and Savannah say, they're going to have a full report on nightly news at 6:30.